หัวข้อในวันนี้ที่ตั้งไว้ Learning Language is to understand human beings. Do you understand Thai? No. แล้วก็สตรีนะครับ Learning Language is to understand human beings. I just will briefly tell you in English what I have to say. Actually, language is a very powerful magic, what we got as human beings. I guess the language is something which differs us from all the animals and all the creatures. What I mean by language is that something, the air, the vibration, I forcefully put it out from my mouth, and then guessing that that vibration hit your eardrum and then make sense what I'm talking about. So there's two things we are talking about: language and communications. Is these two things are the same or different? Of course, they are very different because communication sometimes doesn't need a language. You can just send some signals. If you want to call a dog, you don't have to call a name. You can just send some signal. It may come if you have some connections with that dog. So these two things are very different things. But in this world, we have nearly over 7,000 languages. And this is something what we call social innovation or the creativity of the humanity. And it's something what makes us understand as who we are as a human. Without language, we couldn't be a human. Without language, we could not communicate, we could not send any message I would like to talk, what I have in my mind. So the language is something very human. And then the learning the language itself is, of course, make us understand who we are. But when we talk about a language, there's a big problem. What we mean by language, it is just kind of all this semantic, lexicon, all those things, or it means something. If I say the word, for example, green, man, dog, colorless, or whatever those things, does it make sense? These are all the words just pop out of it. But if you put in language, you might say that a dog went to the green yard or whatever, it makes sense, you see. So this is a way how we link about the language. I want to try something. When we talk about the language, in some of the tribes, indigenous tribes, for example, one indigenous tribe in Australia, they don't have the idea of left and right, which as we are the Thai or we are in the Asian and we are live in this modern world with the very, very strong European or Western cultures, so we have the idea of where is right and where is left, right. But imagine, there's some people, some tribe, some indigenous group who doesn't have the concept of left and right. Then, what does it mean? How do we say that the flower is on my right? So if they don't have the word right, how do they explain that? Sometimes we take for granted so many things. Just brief in English. What I said is that what I did exercise actually in a tribe in Australia, there's one tribe in Australia who doesn't have a notion of left and right. So how do you explain, how do you express yourself that this flower is on my right when they don't have the word left or right? What happened to be their culture is that they have everything in their life is directional, not left and right. When I write our letters, because we are in this part of the world, when we started, we begin from the left and then go to the right. But if it's a Hebrew or if it is Arabic, the starting point totally different. Is from west to right to left. So when we see that idea of a directional pointing out, so I just tried with you that when you close your eyes and I try to ask you to point it to the northeast or somewhere, and everyone pointing in all different directions, which means that we don't have an idea of a directional idea at all. We know which is the east, but when we are asked that, we are confused because we are not grown up in that culture. But if it is those tribes, they will know that I hurt my arm, or I broke my arm. So in English, it's very, very funny. Why you are going to you break your own arm? The structure of the language is very funny. I broke my arm because the English, American and English, European, they take egocentric. Everything is I. That's why when you say that, in front of me or back of me, whatever, past and future, for example. Where is past? Where is future? Sometimes they will use back of your back is the past, in front of is future. But in some cases, no. In front is the past, the back is the future. So what do we mean by that? So therefore, language is something very fantastic. Language which makes you very different from all other animal creatures. So therefore, if you have these tools, if you have this language, and sometimes the language is very complicated. For example, in many languages, in Europe, the la table has a gender. It becomes feminine. In German, the sun is a feminine, moon is a masculine. In Spanish, sun is a masculine, moon is a feminine. So you have all different way of communicating and different ideas of how we communicate each other, how we send our messages, how we trying to convince someone else with our language. And this is what makes us human. So I hope that this theme of the conference, as well as the presenting all the papers, will bring out some of those ideas so that it is not only academic in a sense, but make us understand each other in a more valuable way, in a more kind of exchanging experience and knowledge, which is becoming new innovations for our sort of this disruptive age, disruptive technology age. So in that sense, I guess, I hope that this seminar will fulfill its purpose. ก็หวังว่าการ